Hi, everybody. I'm Lindsay Newitter, and I have a very special guest here who I'd like to introduce you to today. Her name is Carly Clark Zimmer, and she is a certified mind-body coach and licensed massage therapist. She believes that the root cause of stress and pain can be found by exploring feedback from the body and reconnecting to inner wisdom that resides within all of us. Carly helps her clients listen to their heart so they can live in an aligned, energized, and inspired life. Hi, Carly.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I really think this is a treat for my clients to listen to this and the folks who follow my blog because I'm always talking about alignment, posture, and attitude. And I love your take on the idea of being aligned in your life and just how that relates to the body, and it also relates to your thoughts.
Yeah.
And I'd like to hear a little bit about your background, your story, how you became a massage therapist, and then how you started doing this coaching, and then just hear a bit about how you work with people and see if you can take us through an experience of something that you might do.
Yeah. So I love this. I love this word alignment. So I know in a lot of the work that you do, it can be talked about in a very physical way. And what I do with my clients is we talk about alignment in terms of the choices that you make and how it feels in your body. So just a little bit of the really condensed version of my story. So I've been a massage therapist now for 10 years. And even before that, and you just like, as you were saying alignment, I was like, oh my gosh, even right after college, I went to art school, but I started working in advertising, and I was like, this is not what I want to do. And a lot of people experience that feeling like this is not the thing that I'm supposed to be doing, which led me to take a one-day workshop down in New York at the Swedish Institute where I did my training just to see if I liked it. And so the alignment that I help people uncover is that yes, pull forward motion of their body and that feeling of yes, this is the next step. This is what I need to do. So over the past decade, I've really started to exploring this concept between pain and stress and choices and alignment. And what I found working with people and my clients, they'd come in with this pain, and I could sit there and give them 10 massages, deep tissue massages, but sometimes the pain wouldn't go away. And that was it became frustrating for me, and it became frustrating for the client. No matter what I did, their muscles always went back to feeling tight. So then I started to incorporate a little bit of coaching. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know coaching was a thing. But the clients that I spent more time with before and after my session, and we talked about what was going on, what they noticed when they felt that shoulder pain or that neck pain, what was happening in their life, what were they feeling if they let the pain actually speak, or let let the shoulder speak to them, what it had to say. And what I noticed is opening up this dialogue with the body instead of just being cut off from the neck up and experiencing everything below as pain or an annoyance.
Yeah.
There's so much feedback that we can bring into our everyday experience, which is a lot of what you do with your clients as well. So having this coaching conversation around the body work, I really found my clients were getting better results. And sometimes when they just had the space to think and feel about what the shoulder might be saying when they were having that rotator cuff problem, what was so fascinating was their body always had the answer. I wasn't giving them the answer. I was just holding that space for them and asking them the question. And all of a sudden, their body would say, oh man, you've really been carrying around so much stress and tension. And what you really need to do is take a day off. or you need to tell your boss that you need to focus on this project and not keep saying yes to everything that they're piling on. So I really started to notice that the body work, there were so many more layers to it. Now, I don't go into counseling, and I don't have to, because all I really need to do is ask better questions. And it helps to open up that dialogue between your body, which gives you feedback. And then you can make a different, more aligned choice. And that's where I really teach them the language of your body. Like, does it feel light? Does it feel expansive? That's what you need to move toward. And the things that feel super heavy and really the weight of the world, we want to start to move away from those decisions. So that's what I do in BodyMind coaching. That's what I do with my clients. And it's just been such a beautiful unfolding of a process, because really it helps you, once you start making those decisions that feel aligned, it's like the universe starts, everything starts to become a little bit easier. And it's not such a, I don't believe life needs to be so hard all the time. And it doesn't need to be stressful and doesn't need to be painful. So I think the work that we both do just gives other people options for a way to be in the world.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting to look at sort of different avenues to beginning that process.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes my clients come in and I'll ask them what sort of things they've done before. And it's really interesting to see who responds best to what I'm having them do and what they've done previously.
Mm-hmm.
And, pretty consistently, people who have been really doing something, or they're thinking about their bodies in a mindful way.
Mm-hmm.
They're meditating, or they work with a life coach, or
Mm-hmm.
that they are able to tune in more quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Changes that I'm trying to get them to make. So I love this connection between these things.
I think it's so much about awareness. It's about awareness of your body. It's about awareness of your thoughts. It's about awareness of how you're feeling. So when you take the time to actually learn these tools, you just have so much more access to how you want to feel in your everyday life, and what goals you want, what dreams, what desires, and ultimately how you just want to live your life.
Yeah. And when you I love what you were saying about talking to the shoulder and asking what's going on, and then somebody realizing that they're saying yes to too much.
Yeah.
And do you think that there's pressure to say yes to a lot of things, to say yes to everything?
Oh my goodness.
You might see coming up a lot. I want to hear you talk about that a little bit. Is this something you hear a lot?
Oh my gosh. So I work with mostly women, and we have a people pleasing, just like gene, I think. Doesn't mean it can't be overcome. But yeah, I think there is a pressure to say yes to a lot of things. And I have been through this myself, but the more discerning I can be and actually say yes to the things that really light me up and feel expansive, that's when it seems like opportunities drop out of the sky, or the clients that feel so aligned come in. Right. But after, honestly, my massage career, I was slogging for a while, just saying yes, coming in late, working nights, working weekends, working holidays. And I got really burnt out. And it was because I just always said yes, whether it was when I was working for my employer or once I started my own business. I did the same thing. I built the same basic business and almost burnt out again.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was the way I needed to do things. But once I learned and did this, I still do this work for myself every single day. Once I learned how to put myself first and build my business in a way that supports me, then I can actually show up and serve my clients on a much higher level, and I'm not tired and exhausted and feeling resentful because my whole family is together and I can't be there. So I think, and it's starting to shift, but when we can build a business that really supports us, we can take care of our clients so much better, and the clients will still be there. They don't all disappear. So I think we have these preconceived notions of what we have to say yes to. Yeah. But what I do with a lot of my my clients is we really tap into, are they saying yes because they should say yes? Or is it really like, yes, I want to do this. It feels really good. And there's a big difference there. And that's when you can use your body as a tool to tap into how those decisions feel, what I like to call like light versus heavy. So a light decision might be, it could even be taking a client later at night, but you feel energized and you're excited and you love this client and you have nothing on your schedule. So you're like, yeah, that feels really energizing. As opposed to, I've been working all day. I've already seen 5 clients. I'm exhausted. I told my husband I'd have dinner with him, but I got to say yes anyway. See how there's like such a difference there between like yes and like, yeah.
Yeah. And like I can see it in your body as you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like that subtle like, oh man, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like we have a choice. Like if you're watching this interview, you actually probably have a choice as to what you can say yes and no to some extent. And this is the question that I hear a lot, but what about the things you can't say no to? And I know that sometimes there's children we have to take care of, or elderly parents, or even stuff with our jobs. And my response is that's why it's all the more important to do this work, so that you have more gas in the tank when you can't say no to those things.
Right. And I've definitely had the experience of spreading myself very thin, saying yes to a lot of things. And I think I've spent the past few years gradually saying no, kind of taking things off of my plate and focusing more and more on what brings me joy, because I think that I'm going to bring more to the people I'm working with, to my family, to everything in my life, if I'm not always saying yes to all these things that are kind of depleting me.
Yeah. And don't you look back at your calendar from 2 years ago and you're like, holy cow, how did I do all that? That's crazy. I know I do. It's a work in progress, and it's not like perfection. It's
right.
Even when you say yes to something and you get that immediate like afterburn, just pay attention to that, so that next time maybe you say no. It's like this gradual building of awareness of, oh my gosh, I said yes to that thing and it was just an immediate response and I really don't want to do it. It doesn't mean don't follow through on your commitments. It just means pay attention to how your body is feeling and responding when you say yes to that thing that maybe doesn't light you up.
Right. And I think that's important, knowing that you don't have to be perfect.
Oh,
and
no.
maybe you did say yes and you're going to follow through, but even just being conscious of, I'm saying yes and I'm following through with this, it doesn't feel that great. You're telling yourself that there's an opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that you said yes, but that you're acknowledging that a no exists, which I think is amazing. I think that's really important.
Exactly. You do not, it's okay. You can say no. No is a complete sentence. This just happened to my husband last week, and someone asked him to do something and he's had so much on his plate, and it was kind of like an extra thing at work, for the culture. And he came home and he said, I said no. And it hurt a little bit. It kind of stung.
Mm-hmm.
But then later that evening, I said, aren't you glad you said no to that? And he's like, oh my God, I can't even imagine if I had said yes. I'd be full of anxiety right now. So even though sometimes you feel that like after burn, when you say no, you feel like you're disappointing people, just think about like a few hours later when you know that is not on your calendar and you have so much more time to do the things that you love. It's worth that little bit of uncomfortableness to say no.
Right. And that's another interesting topic, I think, is the uncomfortableness when we do something that's non-habitual. We make a decision that's non-habitual, and then there's that little sting. And it's a very visceral word, right?
Yes.
And how to differentiate between that and, well, maybe I did make the wrong decision. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I think the signals get a little bit muddled. Like
Yeah.
this is not a good feeling, but am I having this feeling because I'm going in the right direction and it feels like it's going against my habit? Or is
Mm-hmm.
it because I don't really want to do this? So if that comes up with a client, how do you address it?
Yeah. So I love this. And this is where practicing this kind of concept and building this awareness in everyday decisions is really, really helpful. So, for example, do I want coffee or tea today? Do I want a salad or a burger? Do I want to go to yoga or go for a walk? Like just using these little tiny decisions and tapping into your body in that way, like, you know what? Just walking today feels better than yoga. So I'm just going to go for an easy walk and like listen to a podcast. And just tapping into what feels light and heavy for you in that moment. And it doesn't even have to feel heavy. Just like what is the thing that's more exciting or aligned, or it feels more expansive. Like
Right.
what's the thing that you feel that string from your chest? And it's just like, oh, walk feels good today. It's beautiful out. I'm going to walk. I'm going to go to yoga tomorrow. So when you play with those really easy decisions that nobody else is really counting on you for,
Mm-hmm.
you can build up that capacity in your body and build up that sense of awareness so that when it comes to the bigger decisions, you already know you're building up your body awareness in a way that you can say, okay, they really want me to do this project and I know I have another project due, and maybe I actually need to stand up for myself and say, which one is more important? So you're not even saying no, you're just standing up for yourself and saying, which one do you want me to focus on?
Mm-hmm.
So even that is just like a tiny little micro step that somebody can take. But I do think that practicing, just like anything, practicing with super simple stuff can help to build up that capacity.
That's great. And I feel like it really mirrors a lot of what I do with my clients, where I'm having them practicing being aware of how they're holding their bodies, how they're moving. But I have them start with a few really simple things and
Yeah.
just monitor a few activities.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, okay, you have to be aware and change everything and everything in your life right now, because then it overwhelms people.
Exactly. So
You're
don't
building
try
a
that.
muscle.
Yeah, you can't go to the gym and work out for 6 hours and expect, like a Popeye muscle in
Yeah.
one day. It's just
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Great. Well, I want to move on to just see if is there anything that you would like to offer our listeners, something that they can put into action now, that they can just give this a little test drive. And
Yeah.
what you were just talking about was a little something people could start putting into action about
Yes, they
those
can.
little decisions. Is there anything you want to elaborate on with that, or anything else that you would like to advise?
Yeah, so there's one other thing, and I do have a little freebie for you guys. And so something else that I like to play with, and this comes back to thinking about, stress or pain that you're feeling in your body. I found a lot of my clients kept asking questions like, why am I so stressed? Why am I still stressed? I'm doing yoga, I'm drinking green juice, I'm doing all these things. Why am I still stressed? Or why does my shoulder still hurt? And those type of why questions just tend to keep us circling and spiraling. Like they're not really productive.
Right.
So what I have is a better questions guide that you guys can download. And it's basically 10 questions that are what questions, more what focused questions. And when you replace why with what, all of a sudden, there's so many more possibilities to that answer. So instead of why does my shoulder hurt, what might be causing this shoulder pain? What am I noticing? What am I feeling? What might the shoulder have to say? And all of a sudden, you open up this realm of possibility of different answers rather than answers that just keep you swirling.
It's like getting yourself grounded, and there's something concrete going on. It's not this why me. When you were saying why, that's what came up for me.
Exactly. It's like,
why me? Why?
It almost like keeps us in, like, I don't love the word victim, but it almost keeps us in that mentality of like, there's nothing I can do. I'm going to throw my hands up. And you and I both don't. Like, I don't believe that. And I don't think you believe that either. Like, there's always a possibility. And sometimes we just need to ask better questions to get different results. So that's what this guide is. It's super simple. It's short. It's just really digestible. And you can just play with that wording, like taking the why questions and replacing them with what questions. And you'll definitely get different results. They'll just be moving you into that alignment piece that we were talking about. You know, what can I do today to feel a little bit more energized? What do I need to do to sense to experience myself of sense of self in space?
Yeah. So it's driving you toward actions.
Yeah, exactly.
So identifying something clear that exists.
Yeah.
And actions. Yeah.
Exactly. And even coming back to like making those micro decisions, you can just say, well, what's going to make me feel better today? What's going to make me feel energized? Is it the salad with salmon, or is it a burger and fries? And all of a sudden it's like, and I love a burger and fries too.
Yeah, me too.
There's a time and a place for that, you know, like Tuesday night, my husband and I went out and we're like, burger and fries night. Yes. But like, sometimes it's just a way to play with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, what is going to make me feel more energized? Oh, maybe this other decision.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And I think it's really smart. It's really clear. And I'm gonna do your worksheet too.
Yay! Let me know how you like it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that it can help me identify some things that that I need to get clearer in my life as I'm traveling more. And I sometimes find that organizing my schedule and, you know, thinking of it as a disruption, and how can I change that? What is actually going on there?
Yeah. Like, what do you need to put in place in order to make it easy for you? All of a sudden it kind of makes your shoulders drop. It's like, oh, there's possibility there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. So have fun with the guide. I'm sure you'll find a link for it. And I'm all over social media. So if anyone has questions, like, I'm really accessible. So please, if you're like, I can't figure out the what question to this, like, just message me.
We're going to put the link to the guide below, and Carly's contact information is on the guide.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. So they can find her through that. So just click on that link and check it out, and share what you discover.
Yes, please.
About your body.
I love hearing feedback from people. It's always, I love it. I love helping them through blocks and also hearing their wins. And it's important to celebrate our wins and not just always be looking for the problems also, which we can do a whole nother talk on that.
Well, thank you so much.
This is so much fun.
I learned something here. I hope everybody else learned something, that you're more curious about how your mind and body are connected.
Yeah. And I love that word. Like, that word, if anything else you take away from this conversation, like, just be curious. There's always possibilities. We just have to bring in that element of playfulness and curiosity, and all of the sudden different options open up for us.
Well, thank you very much, Carly. And
thank you. This is so fun.
Okay, so check out that guide and let us know how it goes. All right.
Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.